cream of the crop. Nobody does it better.
Hey, but you are so money and you don't even know it.
I understood that reference.
Morning, Mr. Hammond.
Your mission,
should you accept it, steal, destroy, shadow, disappear.
assemble the team.
And here we go.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Freewheeling Fridays. This is the show where we introduce you to some of the best creators from all over the world, and we find out more about them by taking your questions while discussing all things pop culture, because pop culture is the best thing since sliced bread. Just saying. I am your host, Ryan of Anti-Quote Channel, and our guest on this episode is someone who's familiar with being up in the Northeast, familiar with being down in the South there, and maybe visiting the West Coast. I don't know. But please welcome. Gee whiz. See, my words are already being silly. Indie comic creator and, being around great people in the south of Georgia where all the MCU movies and TV shows are hanging out. So basically, he hangs out with the Avengers every day, and I'm not. So I'm kind of jealous of that. But please welcome the creator of DEATHBLADE. E.A. Brown is in the building. Hello, Mr. Brown. How are you this evening?
Hey, Ryan. How you doing?
Oh,
Thank you for having me.
Oh, we're very happy to have you here, and we're fine. We're all fine here. No, thank you. How are you? But if you're watching this live or on the replay, thank you for doing so. Do not forget to like and share this video with all of your closest friends, all right? They're going to like the way they look after watching or listening to this episode of Freewheeling Fridays. Yes. We guarantee it. And if you have any questions for E.A. Brown, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Be more than happy to hear from you as we go throughout the course of this very program. With that being said, EA, what were some of your, let me put it to you this way. When were you first introduced to the world of comics? When did it all start for you?
7 years old. My mother took me to my first comic book store, and I bought my first book was Captain America. And actually, I was in love with Falcon. That was my first comic book.
There you go. That's a great way to start out. Winter Soldier, anybody? Captain America Brave New World just hit theaters 2 minutes ago. Okay. We're right on top of things, guys. Mm-hmm. No, that's fantastic stuff. So what would you say are some of your favorite comic book writers or artists from back then or even now?
Well, Jack Kirby is my all-time favorite. New Gods. I mean, the art, the storyline, it just pops. Wayne McDuffie, I was a Marvel fan, but I mean, I was just a huge Jack Kirby fan. And I would say if there was between Marvel and DC, I would say more of a DC fan because of the depth of their stories. And their art was great, but their characters had more depth. Marvel was more into the let's woo you with the art and everything. That was great. That was cool. But, stories for me, that does it for me. I like those detailed stories and, the depth of the character. And I think that adds flavor and that gravitates to readers.
Wow, Jack Kirby, the godfather of comics.
Yes.
He made us an offer we couldn't refuse back then and even now because people are discovering his stuff either for the first time or they're going back and rediscovering it wherever it may be. You may not be able to see it here on our set, but I actually do have a paperback copy of DC's New Gods by Jack Kirby. I just haven't cracked it open yet, unfortunately, because I don't know if anyone knows this or not. My TBR list is pretty bad. It's 600 miles long. I don't know how your TBR list is, but I got so many titles I want to check out, which includes New Gods and a few other things by Jack the Man Kirby. Yeah. Yes. So I got a big list, but New Gods is there. I have the paperback. It looks phenomenal. Looks fantastic. I've read The Forever People, I believe it is, by Jack Kirby. I've read some of the other stuff he's done for DC and things like that, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to cracking open New Gods and see what he's got there.
Amazing. It's it's amazing, and it's kind of fun. I'm going to surprise you here. People ask me, what was your comic book that you read that people wouldn't think you read? Firestorm was actually one of my favorites from DC. I think that's a character that has amazing depth. He's an interesting character, and I just think that they missed an opportunity with him. I think he's an amazing character that I think could do well. He's been on television, but he's been with what's that show that used to be on CW?
Was it Arrow? Was it The Flash? Was it Black Lightning? Or
no, it was a group of. They used to have all the groups together.
Oh, was it Legends of Tomorrow?
Legends of Tomorrow. He was
LOT.
on there. Yeah, Firestorm was on there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, he's an amazing character. I mean, I'm a Ghost Rider fan too.
Ooh.
Love Ghost Rider.
Johnny Blaze. Okay.
Johnny
Blaze.
You know, Ghost Rider, Swamp Thing. I'm a huge fan of that too as well.
Oh, the more obscure characters. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, shoot, you know, I mean, I'm a '70s person, so you know, Lou Ferrigno is my Incredible Hulk. Okay, let's keep it real, keep it 100. So you know, I feel that was the golden years of comics. You know, you couldn't get in. I mean, if you're a kid, you're living in a dream world. You know, Christopher Reeves is my Superman. When he first came out, that was huge. When they did the movie, I remember because my mom bought me my Superman suit, and that's how that was kind of like the beginning of me wanting to create my own comic book.
Look at that. Well, we you know, as the poster likes to tell us, you will believe a man can fly. So that's
it was the first time my friend, you know, told me. My mom bought me the suit, and
that's cool.
And I went to schools Halloween, so you know, with school I was excited. And my friend said, "You can't be Superman. You're black." And I'm like, "What?
Who cares?"
But see, you know, I don't think he meant anything by it. But he hurt me real bad because you know, I went home and told my mom, you know how moms always tell you, you can do whatever you want to do. Yeah. And that was the day I said, I'm going to make my comic book. Now, it took me 40-something years, folks. But okay, I got to it.
It's all, yeah, time is everything, right? Time is everything in the business. And there's a season, there's a time for everything, as a piece of literature or scripture like to tell us. So, which I understand, by the way. I understand that completely. But Super Loop, man, and then you say, like, yeah, I like Marvel and stuff, but I like DC a little bit more. See, this is why E.A. Brown and I are going to become fast friends here, because I like both. You can like both, folks. There's nothing wrong. I like both for different sets of reasons. I grew up watching X-Men. I grew up watching Spider-Man, but I also grew up watching Batman with Michael Keaton. I grew up watching Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher light it up in Lois and Clark, the new title, New Adventures of Superman, which, by the way, if you were in the 90s, you were there every Friday night on ABC, son. We were there for Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher. We knew what was going to go down.
I can even go back even further, 70s and 80s, when I was watching Batman, and then they had this old Superman show that we used to watch. I know they call that campy.
The campiness, yeah.
But hey,
it worked.
It worked.
And the Batman show in the 60s the comics were written that way for its time. So
yeah, it was incredible. And then I always tell people, everyone's talking about, Spider-Man show. Hey, we already had a Spider-Man show. CBS had a Spider-Man show. I watched it.
Did you?
Yeah, it was okay.
All right.
It was cool. You know, it was cool. You know, everyone went to, hands,
crawling up walls, maybe
walls and stuff
wall
like that.
Crawling menace, as J. Jonah Jameson likes to tell us.
I mean, come on. I mean, everyone. I mean, that you can't beat that, man. I mean, growing up, that's like. And then we had Godzilla on top of that, and then we had the Speed Racer. On top.
I remember watching reruns of that. Yeah.
Oh man, we would come home from school, do our homework real quick, and you're watching the cartoons.
Go Speed Racer, go. Yeah.
And then I
remember it.
What's the other one? Thundercats. I used to watch that all the time.
Thundercats, yeah.
I mean,
there was a lot. There was a lot of flavor back then, wasn't there?
It was. It was. And here's the thing. I think originality was huge.
Big time.
And I'm not saying that now the shows aren't as original. Because I believe there's no original story. What makes it original is how you format it and how you tell your story. Because every story has its similarities.
That's a valid point.
And so, from, I think, looking at what, they're trying to do in Marvel and DC. I think the mistake that they're making is they keep making the same stories of the same heroes. They have a plethora of heroes and villains that they can create.
That's very true.
That they have just totally locked down. I get it. I understand it, but I mean, DC has so many things, so many stories they could do. It'd be ridiculous.
Yep. They have so many characters from the JL and Justice League Unlimited animated series that you could do if you have the right people and the right, people behind the camera and in front of the camera. You can do it. Like, who doesn't want to see the Question going up, teaming up with, the Huntress, or Black Canary teaming up with, the Cowboy, or some of the other lesser known characters in the DC mythology. Because they did it so well on JL and JLU back in the day, which, for those of you who aren't familiar, it stands for Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. By the way, check your listings and watch that show. It's so freaking good. And if you can't find it on streaming, which I know it's on Max, but buy it on physical media, because I own Justice League Unlimited on Blu-ray, and I have no shame, because Justice League Unlimited has some of the best storytelling in DC's history. Yeah. Because there's so many different characters, and then they integrate them into certain storylines or certain pieces of a storyline. When you get Green Arrow that reluctantly wants to join the League. Oh, but then the Huntress or the Black Canary makes an offer to him. It's like, well, what if you joined us and we did this, right? What if you did it? And it's like, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with it? I love seeing these characters interact with each other because everyone has a different personality, right? Everyone reacts to things a different way. And the fact that Green Arrow says one thing and the Huntress does another, it's like, okay, I can work with this, because they see things differently. And that's what you want to see from characters. It's how they play off of one another, right?
Right. And that's what helped me. That's the world I'm coming from. The comic books, the Master of Kung Fu. Yeah. I'm about to go. Just label them off. Don't forget we got Deathlock. People forget about that. Matter of fact, I remember when I got that character, I got the doll for Christmas, because I remember my dad bought it for me. I also got the G.I. Joe, which I tell people G.I. Joe was black. The first G.I. Joe doll was black. And I got that. I got that for Christmas, and I got Deathlock for Christmas. I remember like it was yesterday.
It's very good. That's very.
And people don't know that.
I wasn't aware that, me personally, because this is a little before my time, with all due respect to the age range between E.A. Brown and myself. Sorry, we're dating ourselves, guys. But no, it's fine, because I actually just took a picture this past weekend. We were in Philadelphia with friends, and there was there's a lot of costuming organizations out there, including the Cobra Commanders and the G.I. Joe cosplay organizations.
That's where I came in. See?
And the funny thing is, they had a Cobra throne there, and they were letting people sit on the throne and get free pictures. So obviously, even though I was wearing civilian clothing and not wearing, like, a G.I. Joe t-shirt or whatever, because like I said, before my time, I sat on the throne of Cobra Commander. I'm like, it's good to be the king, isn't it? King Cobra, Cobra Commander. It's just, and the costumes are cool, man. Yes, the Cobra soldiers, the Cobra Commander, like, they all look fantastic. I like their outfits.
It's originality, you know what I'm saying? It's not like they all got to wear the same uniform.
No.
Now look, I love the Fantastic Four. Don't get it twisted.
The first family of Marvel, you mean?
Family of Marvel. I like Dr. Doom, which I think they got the right character. It's interesting, that's Iron Man, but you know how that goes. But I think that's what people are going to see from my comic book DEATHBLADE. They're going to see and feel that, feel with the modern twist to bring in the new generation.
There you go. Kicking tail and taking names. Also is what we continue to do here on Freewheeling Fridays, part of the Madison Entertainment Group. And Pops Van Zandt of the Madison Entertainment Group is in the chat. He says, hey, yo, like Scott Hall or Razor Ramon from the pro wrestling days. Good to see you, Pops. If everything's well in your
wrestling. Okay.
Yeah, well, he the first time Pops walks into a chat room, he always drops the magic words, hey, yo. We're going to take a little survey. Sorry, that's Razor Ramon there for you. But still, don't forget to like and share this with your closest friends. If you have any questions for E.A. Brown, let us know in the comments or the chat. If you're joining us or live on a replay, thank you for doing so. So you mentioned a couple of things here and there. You kind of segued in and out of certain questions we already had, but you already kind of scurried over them. So just out of curiosity, though, what are some of your other favorite comic book-based movies or TV series that you have yet to name?
One of my favorite movies. I love Westerns.
Oh, I love Westerns too. Yeah.
Now, my favorite one is Tombstone. I don't care if no one says Doc Holliday is the best That is, you can't beat that. You've seen something come close, but that movie was just, I mean, the actor's no longer with us, but
sadly.
yeah.
But he will always be, I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah, that right there was just, that was classic.
I mean,
that was classic. He's like, oh, I don't have no quarrel with you. He's like, oh, but you do. It's kind of like,
you think you're better than me or whatever. Like, we got to figure this out. We got to test our mettle, right? And then at the end of the movie, where he finally confronts him, even though was it Johnny Ringo thinks it's Wyatt Earp coming from behind the tree line, says, Johnny Ringo, you look like someone just walked over your grave.
Yeah, that right. That's what I'm talking about. Right,
only Val Kilmer could deliver those lines. And it's funny you mentioned Val Kilmer. I mean, obviously we miss him very much, in RIP to Val Kilmer, because he's done so many great performances in the history of his career. But in 2 weeks' time, EA Brown, I don't know if you knew this or not, but on A Night Quote Channel, we are going to be celebrating and honoring the memory of Val Kilmer with a 30th anniversary watch-along of Batman Forever. So it's coming, man.
I felt that
it's coming.
He did Batman. He did Batman very well, but he did. But I felt that he would have been better playing something else.
In the DC universe?
In the DC.
Well, who do you think he should have played if he wasn't as Batman and Bruce Wayne at one point? Who do you think he could have played?
I think he would have made a great Constantine.
Ooh, okay, all right. I mean, granted, anyone could do it. No offense, Keanu Reeves, I love you, but Constantine the movie just didn't really work. But Matt Ryan is Constantine in the TV series for NBC, and then it transferred over to Legends of Tomorrow, and he reprised the role on Legends of Tomorrow. That's fine.
He plays.
That's Constantine. But when it comes to rebooting, like if Val Kilmer were still here, oh my gosh, him as Constantine. What do you folks think? Do you think Val could have pulled off Constantine back in the day, maybe in 2005?
I think he'd have killed it. I also think he would have made. From a DC, from a Marvel.
Yeah, who could he have played in Marvel? There's so many characters he could have done.
I'm gonna go off the radar here that people probably wouldn't see, but I think he would make a great Sentry.
Oh, the one who just recently, if I'm not mistaken, didn't that character may or may not have recently appeared in Thunderbolts?
Yes.
So okay, well,
I think he would have made a good one. I think he'd have made a good one. And the reason why I say that is because of his depth.
Okay.
And able to bring out different characters, because Sentry is very, I mean, let's be honest, he's Superman with mental issues, okay? Has different personalities. He's got the Void. He's, how do you play that? I think the character that played him was okay. Don't get me wrong. I think he was good. But I think if a younger Val Kilmer played that, he'd kill it.
That's interesting. Wow. All these Marvel and DC theory recasting theories
I think he would kill it.
Are fascinating. Man, this is fascinating stuff. And I don't know if anyone can tell if you're watching or listening to this right now by the tone of our voices, and as we can see, we're a lot happier. With that being said, there's a DC reference for you. Sorry, I had to make it because I grew up on Batman '89, watching it religiously as a kid. I still do to this day. I watch it probably 50 times a year.
Who was your best Batman, though?
Out of all of them?
Out of all of them.
Are we talking now? Are we just specifically talking about the live action iterations of Batman, or are we also talking about everything Batman, like animated, voiceover, everything?
I would say movie wise.
Movie wise, let's just talk about movie wise, because otherwise, this is a really deep discussion, folks. It really is. We'll probably end up having this discussion when we do the Batman Forever watch along discussion in 2 weeks' time, when we honor the memory of the late great Val Kilmer.
Yes.
There's so many though, but movie wise. See, this is the thing. Like, I grew up on Keaton, so naturally I would say, because that first movie, Batman Returns is good, but Batman '89 is a masterpiece. Like, it is like The Godfather compared to Batman Returns. I'm sorry. I mean, Batman Returns has its moments. Don't get me wrong, because it's still Tim Burton, it's the same people, but it went a little off the rails there for me. I'm sorry. I'm gonna. This is hard. Probably just because I've seen the movie more times than I care to count. EA, I'm sorry. Probably Keaton.
Yeah,
because he didn't have to change his voice like Christian did. Christian Bale changed his voice from Batman to Bruce Wayne, and he didn't necessarily have to do it. But then again, it was a different era and generation for Batman fans, and he wanted to differentiate himself from the other iteration, which is cool. And Batman Begins is a great film, and it's funny because Batman Begins turns 20 this year. We're also going to be doing a watch along for that the week after We celebrate Batman Forever, E.A. Brown. So there's going to be a lot of Batman discussions.
Yeah.
Coming to, and I quote.
I think Keaton, I mean, I look at it. I mean, Val Kilmer was okay, but
he was good.
He was good, but
Keaton's the OG, man.
Yeah, Keaton. I mean, they brought him back, and he killed it when they brought him. He killed it when they brought him back. In the
Flash,
which was actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I'm just showing people my depth. I do read.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We're all fans here, folks.
Yeah.
I can watch Keaton as Batman in that first movie any day of the week, twice on Sunday, crashing through the roof. When the fist pump moment happens, right? The big music kicks in. He saves Vicky, opens up his Batarang, zip lines to the end of the museum, right? Kicks the door open. Joker says, "Where does he get those wonderful toys?" And then the Batmobile shows up. Nicholson. Yeah, Nicholson just owning it from day one.
Yeah, he's the Joker. Period. I don't care what nobody say. He is. Well, I know people want to say
Ledger. Heath Ledger was the greatest of all time.
Yeah, Heath Ledger was. He was good, but I think they're two different styles
and two different generations too.
Two different.
Way different.
I mean, I saw both of them. I was young and I saw both of them. But I would say Jack Nicholson was more of what Joker was.
Just chaotic,
all
over the place,
unexpectedly. I mean, he was.
He could be a charmer for 1 minute, and then he just pull a gun on you.
Yeah, he could be cold-blooded just like that. He could just turn on you. Ledger was serious.
He was all about anarchy too. He's an anarchist.
Right. So right. I mean, he brought a different.
He was great. We all love him.
He was good. He was good. I
love him.
Hate on him. But if you look at the Joker or what he was meant to be, it was Jack Nicholson killed it.
I mean, walking into a room every day looking like that and says, "Honey, you'll never believe what happened to me today."
Exactly.
Which, by the way. Cosmic Grandpa's here in the chat. And he says, "I'm seeing EA for the very first time. I like him already."
Thank you.
See, there's a line for you.
Yes.
This is but I get it, man. But I'd probably go with Keaton. But we are going to be discussing Val Kilmer's iteration in a couple of weeks on Anti. So if you want, and if you can, for those of you watching or listening, you might want to subscribe to Anti-Quote channel as well as the Madness Entertainment Group with all the great stuff we got coming down the pike. Let's see here. Someone had a question here for you. Who was it? Oh, yeah. Eggers the Movie says, "What is your favorite Friday the 13th?" Oh, boy. Going into the horror genre now.
Oh, dude. You just...
Slasher.
Yes. Friday the 13th.
What's your favorite one? There's so many to choose from.
It got to be the first one.
The OG? You're going with the very first?
I'm going with the first one.
Okay.
That first one, when that first came out, and you look at everyone wanted to go see that. That freaked us all out. You couldn't go wrong. Has there been some bad Friday the 13th? Yeah.
The reboot.
There has been some
I went to a press screen. I went to a press screen of that with two close friends of mine from the radio station we were working for at the time. And when I was younger and not as well versed in filmography as I am now, I thought it was cool because you had Danielle Panabaker from The Flash was in it before she was Danielle Panabaker. She was growing up, of course. But then you had Jared Padalecki from Supernatural was the lead actor in that one. I thought that was really cool. And then you also had Amanda Rigetti, who was Agent Van Pelt on The Mentalist with Simon Baker from a couple of years ago. And I'm like, yeah, that's great casting, but when you look back on it now, because I did a rewatch of it not too long ago, EA, to be perfectly honest with you. And I'm like, what the heck was I thinking when I saw this movie? Yeah. This movie is so mad. It's bad. It's garbage. Hence the reason you shouldn't remake. You can't remake. You can't remake or reboot a classic. You just can't, which is number one in filmmaking.
It's hard, but like I said, the first one and the second one wasn't bad either. The second one wasn't bad either.
Okay. I mean, isn't that where he gets his hockey mask in the second one?
Yes. Yeah.
So right, well, you got to give the hockey mask some cred there, buddy.
Yeah, but I tell people Freddy Krueger is my favorite one.
What's your favorite Nightmare on Elm Street? Is it the OG?
It will be I like the first one's good, but I like the second. I like the second one, and then I think they had one. The one I know it was kind of crazy. Him versus
Freddy versus Jason.
That one was kind of crazy.
I enjoyed it too.
That was actually pretty good.
Yeah, two of the biggest horror icons going head to head in a crossover multiverse
I have to say
battle.
I enjoy it. I have to say that one was fire.
I like that movie.
That was fire. And I would say when it comes to the horror, that's kind of when I created DEATHBLADE. I use some of those features you're going to see we're going to use in just the stylistic style of DEATHBLADE of Ambrose.
Fair enough. And once again, you're segueing into a question we haven't gotten to. We are going to discuss the Blade of Death, DEATHBLADE. Yes. Sorry, we're going to get to it eventually, but some more people have some questions and comments for you here. So let's see if we can bring these up here for just a moment. Let's see. Acres Movie says, if given a major IP such as Jason Voorhees to make a comic book of what direction would you take the franchise if you had the opportunity to take Jason or some other horror-themed character in a comic book form? In your opinion, how would you do it?
I've always believed that you can't replace the stylistic of the first one. I will try to mimic or really try to come as close as I can, but I will try to build my own story in my own likeness. I think sometimes we get caught in trying to copy someone else. It doesn't work. You can like certain things that you like about it, but I will build it in my own likeness. I will add a few different things. I think back during that time, the technology wasn't as what it is now. But then in a way, you don't want technology so much in horror. I think what made it so unique, it looked like it was real. And that's what really, freaked out a lot of kids and why we like watching it, because it looked real to us. So if I'm asking that question, I would definitely try to use a little bit of both styles, a little bit of the modern look, but still try to keep the originality of it. But the storyline, I think, overall, there's nothing wrong with the storyline.
All right. Fair enough. Keep things, some things don't need to be changed.
Yeah, some things you can't touch.
You can't touch. Cosmic Grandpa says, I grew up on Adam West's iteration of Batman. For me, he will always be the Batman.
I love you, man. I'm an Adam West fan too, but I used to go home every day and watch
Zip
that.
Bang Pow. Yeah.
Always left us with a cliffhanger. That's why we were always running. Me and my friend run from school to watch the Batman show. So, got you.
Valid point. And there you go. Hey, it's Adam West may not be my Batman, but he was for a lot of people their Batman. That's fine. It's all. I may not like it particularly. I may not like that iteration, but hey, if you like it, hey, more power to you.
Well, it's like I told people,
different.
That was when Batman first came on, and then during that time where we grew up, we didn't take ourselves that serious.
No, it was campy.
It was different back then. And I'm pretty sure that if he saw the Batman West, I'm pretty sure he saw the Spider-Man show that was on CBS. It was campy, but it was cool at the same time.
Well, let's be honest. The 60s animated series of Spider-Man does whatever Spider can. Like that may be cheesy, campy, over the top. And it was the same animation every episode with him swinging like this.
Yeah.
Waving at the camera, but you see the same 5 buildings in every shot because that was all they could do at the time, because animation was, it was rough back then. It wasn't easy, but I remember going to a video store in my neck of the woods in Maryland. It was called Errol's. Errol's was a video store, and we went in there, and I always told my mom, I'm like, Mom, I want to see Spider-Man. So she would always check out the same VHS, which included the first 3 or 4 episodes of the original 1967 animated Spider-Man cartoon. And this is right as 94's Spider-Man was debuting on Fox Kids back then, because I'm a Fox Kids kid, because I'm a 90s kid. So
X-Men,
I was watching old school Spider-Man before the 94 or during the time that 94 was out, and X-Men 92 was out. So it was, if anybody remembers Errol's, the video store, let me know in the comments, because those are some good times walking up and down.
Back. That's about. Did you see the Spider-Man live TV series on CBS?
That I did not. I missed out on the train. I only saw the 67 version, and then I saw reruns of Spider-Man. And then I saw the spin-off of that, which was Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. I saw reruns of that.
Yeah. But that was man. That's the part that I grew up on. And that really helped prepare me or prepare me to what I'm currently doing now. Those writers really set a tone in how I present along with today's modern look and feel. I'm a Star Trekkie fan. I grew up Star Wars fan, huge. And I'm gonna go somewhere where people, if the show 1999 that used to come on Saturday night, it was Space Station that was kind of supernatural, but it was kind of weird, but it was cool. The Thing, we used to watch, that's kind of where I grew up on. So I'm taking a lot of this imagination and building my universe, building my world. And I'm a dreamer, and in my imagination, yes, I was that kid in school that was writing on a board. I will pay attention in class.
Oh gosh.
Because me and my friend will be in the back with our comic books out, and teacher be calling our name, and we're somewhere fighting. I'm somewhere fighting a villain. I'm not even thinking about her.
So you were the Bart Simpson. You had to write on the board every time after school. It's like, I will not do this.
Every time. And she hated it because she would tell us, she goes, writing assignments, and every writing assignment I was writing about a comic book.
Are you serious?
I was writing a comic book form. It would just piss her off, man. She would just go off.
So you really took that advice we got many, many years ago when either one of us were growing up where you heard the magic words. All you got to do is take a look. It's in a book. So you just couldn't stop looking at that book, that comic book, that eternal thing called a comic. You kept, opening it up, looking at all the panels, the illustrations, all that kind of jazz. And then you would go to the comic store, go to your local supermarket, do the spinner racks, look at the spinner racks, pick out all 500 of them, and be like, Mom, Dad, I want all these so I can take them to school tomorrow. Well, why do you want to take them to school? Because I want to read them. Why? Because I don't really care about class that much. Can I just read the comics for 2 hours? And it's, and they're like, sure. Why? And your parents were like, sure. Why not? No, they were not. Probably not.
Yeah,
but
and it's all good because my dad's a pastor. And
oh wow, it's like, son, you should be reading the books, not that book.
Yeah, he was strict, but my mother was very liberal, and she says, look, you can read it along. It's nothing crazy. So we read it, and she took us to the library.
There you go.
I read it, and that's how I got into it. And
beautiful.
I had so many comic books, it was crazy. And I kept them nice and neat. The ones in the plastic, when you bought them in the plastic, I kept them there. I kept them neat. You couldn't even touch
nice and neat.
Nice and crisp.
Yeah, nice and neat, man.
And, I bought, I didn't just buy one, I bought the series. And so,
just you had to.
And it was hilarious because I went to college. I had all my comic books in nice. Then I had
you had them with you.
I bought, I don't know if you remember back in the day, they used to have Nikes. You could actually build custom Nikes. I had custom Nikes. They were nice. I only wore them on special occasions. Okay.
No.
And then we also had every video game known to man. We had the Tiger football game, famous football game order in television, Atari, Vector. We had every game, even the Star Trek game.
Star Trek. Wow.
The Star Trek mobile game where they were hitting the spaceships and stuff.
Look at you.
We had it all. My parents spoiled us. We had it all.
Well, I think it's fair to say here on this episode of Freewheeling Fridays, you really know how to live long and prosper. For sure, which is no shame, by the way. Geekmen Masters of the Thunder Nerd says, hey, how's it going, everybody? Good to see you, Geekmen Masters of the Thunder Nerds, which is one of the most creative names I've ever heard in my life. Hope everything's well with you. Hope your shows are going well, because I know you put out like 2-3 shows a week, which is insane. More power to you, buddy. I'm just saying. And then Cosmic Grandpa has an interesting thing to share with us here. He says, EA and I would have been great after-school friends.
Yes, we would.
Yes,
we would. I mean, I don't know. I mean, my teacher thought I was a trouble child.
I don't know if I should even. Yeah, I don't know if I should ask you this question, but this is a horror movie, so let's go with this for a minute. Acres of Movie says, did you like the movie Species with Natasha Henstridge?
Yes, I did. I love that movie. That was amazing.
Did you like its follow-up? Did you like the subsequent sequels and spinoffs, or no?
It got campy after this.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It got campy. It was like, okay, that's how often? How many times can you go to the well? Okay.
And and clone Syl, even though they told you not to clone her, but you clone her anyway.
Right? So I mean, it was kind of like the second one. Okay, we was like, okay, cool, I get it. But actually, we used some of the species some of the stuff that they did that were used in DEATHBLADE. So that's a spoiler. Okay.
Wow. Okay. You know,
so I just gave you guys a spoiler.
Hashtag minor spoilers on this episode of Freewheeling Fridays with the guest of honor and the apparently a Marvel and a horror movie and comic book expert, E.A. Brown from the great state of Georgia. Let us know what you think in the comments. If you have any questions, let us know. If you're joining us live on the replay, thank you for doing that. If this is Memorex for you, there you go. Don't forget to like and share this historically great dissertation of an episode that E.A. Brown has been giving me these last 35 minutes of my life with all of your closest friends. So let's talk about this for a minute here. Death blow. No, not death blow like they say in Seinfeld. Here we go. Death blow. No, it's called DEATHBLADE. DEATHBLADE, The Awakening. So how did this all come about? And for someone who's unfamiliar with DEATHBLADE, what is the elevator pitch?
Well, this is a story about a military man who thinks he's in a perfect world. He ends up going on a mission. The Navy SEALs, he's the best of the best. He goes on a mission, a routine mission that they normally do. Nothing really happens. But on this occasion, everything goes wrong. It just a disaster. He ends up being the lone survivor of his team. And he's dealing with survivor guilt. He's dealing with what happened. Did I kill my men? But underneath all of this, something much darker and sinister is building up. As he gets closer and he finds there is a conspiracy going on, he realizes that he's entered into the supernatural world of Victorian Machiavellian villains, diabolical monsters, vampires, werewolves, demons, and he realized that he's into something that he didn't even know was possible. And there's also something within him that he's going to find out. And one of the things that I want people to realize about DEATHBLADE, he's not a hero. He's not an anti-hero. I don't believe in that. I believe that they are individuals given abilities. Now, I'm not saying that he has abilities, because I'm not saying that Ambrose is DEATHBLADE. But I can tell you that DEATHBLADE is more than one person.
In the words of Star Trek, oh my. That's see what I did there?
Yes.
No, that's in the words of our good friend Spock. Fascinating. This is some deep stuff, man. This is dark. I get, looking at this cover here, it kind of gives me the Spawn vibes, where whoever the reader is, where you're going, every day is Halloween. So if you remember the Spawn movie with Michael J. White, and he drops that line on someone before he kills her, I'm like, damn. Halloween, that doesn't sound good. Well, sounds like a horror. It sounds like a horror-filled good time, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's funny because Leo, is Leo Calapetra, is a variant cover. This is the original cover. This is the main cover. He did this cover, and he actually writes. I mean, he actually is the artist for Image. He's actually the guy doing the new Spawn. Look, it's coming from him. So,
whoa, okay, let's go. Let's get some new Spawn up in here. They've been talking about. I mean, not just the comic books. Of course, the comic books can continue on and on for as long as they wish. But we've been hearing rumblings of a new Spawn movie coming out for many years now, if not decades. And Jamie Foxx was supposed to play him at one point. So it's like, where's the new Spawn movie, guys? Get on this.
Yeah, one thing I tell people too, what they're going to really like about DEATHBLADE is. He's his own story. It's, you're going to see you may see references, but that's about it. Because when you read the story, you read the book, you're going to be like, what? You guys actually did what? And that's, we're going to challenge you. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to be intentional. I grew up, with really good stories, families sitting in front of the television. We're enthused because of the story, the drama, the action. And I have to give it to Brian Cochran, the writer. He did an excellent job of taking my 300 breakdown pages of this comic, which is hilarious. But he really broke it down, and we really put it. I can tell you, it took us 2 years in development to do this. So the fans are going to be really, they're going to enjoy this.
Well, that's just badass mother effing stuff. Sorry. We do have the link for the Kickstarter in the comments below. I know the Kickstarter campaign may have come to a close, but you can still pledge late. Late pledges are still being made available for those of you who want to take part in this.
Yes, this is the time, everyone. You can go in.
Get on it.
Get on it. And I know some people have asked us, are you going to be in stores? No. For the first 6 issues are Kickstarter only releases. Yes. So
get on it, guys.
Get on it and
get on it.
Spread the word.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
Everybody who's into this kind of stuff.
Yeah, get your book. Something that we're doing, our website is coming on.
Oh, nice. So
we're creating, we have a website, but we're redoing it.
Sure.
And so we're creating DEATHBLADE's world. So when we release everything, we're going to do a greet and meet. You're going to meet the team. We're going to answer questions after you all had a chance to read the book. Tell us what you think, and then you can sprout questions. Not saying we're going to answer all of them because we're not going to give spoilers, but we'll give as much information as we can.
Giddy up, man. That's fantastic. Congratulations on that. Congratulations on the Kickstarter being successfully and fully funded. You got over 100 plus backers. Met your fundraising goal and then some. I think you unlocked some stretch goals, if I'm not mistaken. So you kicked tail and took some names. And Cosmic Grandpa says 300 pages and a comic in the same sentence. Pff, that's hilarious.
Yes, it is. But what we did was we took each character's within the plot lines and we wrote their beginning to the end. So we know exactly what's going to happen to that character. We created the different plot lines and storylines that we wanted. We broke it down. So that's coming from my IT background.
That's a lot of IT right there, fellas.
That's a lot of IT, bro. That's how I break things down and storylines. And then when we presented to Brian, he's used to getting just a little simple paragraph. Right?
Yeah, paragraph.
And he's like, no, dude, you ain't get right. This is the universe. Here it is. Pow.
300 pages. And, okay. I was going to say, fasten one's seatbelts. And then Raw and T says, challenge the readers. Challenge them always with these kind of stories.
Yeah. And
there you go.
Yeah. And you guys are going to be challenged. You're going to have questions. And we want that. That's what we want. One of the things that we feel DEATHBLADE, there hasn't really been, there really hasn't been a character really come out to really just woo you. And, we feel that DEATHBLADE is that character. We feel that we have the opportunity to definitely grow organically and build. Because we know once people see us, they like it. So our thing is wait till you read the book and you're really going to like it. And then you're going to like the art as well. The art is amazing. Period.
Yeah. It's like a gift on Christmas morning. The wrapping paper may look good, but once you tear out that gift wrap and you look at the box and you look inside the box, as our good friend Brad Pitt likes to tell us, what's in the box? Then when you look inside the box and you find out how great DEATHBLADE is, then your mind's really going to be blown.
And the thing is, like I tell people, the art that I gave you, those different things I gave you that you see, those are interior pages. Folks.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg, too.
Yeah, that's not even action.
That's a tip, right?
Yeah, that's a tip. It's not even action series. Now, the only one we gave away was the famous fight with M.
Okay.
That's the one we did give away.
It's pretty cool, though.
Yes, it was.
I won't lie.
That one, I'm gonna say this. The artist for that, well, my art director, Aleem Legarrette, he is also a creator. He had a big hit on Kickstarter called the Diary of Sweet Pea. He's very gifted. He brought his art team. I was introduced to him, and we hit it off really well. We met at the C2E2 last year's show at the Heroic Awards, and we hit it off. And he introduced me to Yusuf Shittal. Remember that name. He is very gifted artist. He blew it. I mean, I already had an artist for DEATHBLADE before I met Aleem. And so I was introduced to Aleem, and Aleem knocked it out the box. He redesigned M for me. And the look, I was so wooed by the look, and you've seen M. I was so wooed by the look, I just said, dude, I knew I was in trouble. And I said, someone had to go. And it wasn't that my artist wasn't great. He just wasn't for DEATHBLADE. And that's okay. It's okay. You know, that happens. But those guys over there in Nigeria, I don't know what they're doing, but they're amazing. They're amazing.
You're just killing it on all fronts today, aren't you? It's only Friday.
Yes,
no, I'm kidding.
they're amazing.
You've been doing this forever. Fantastic stuff. And goodness, let me see here. Cosmic Grandpa says, this has been very well thought out. I can appreciate that when it comes to your storytelling. Rawl and T says, the only thing missing here is a free sandwich. All right. Anyone else want a free sandwich? I don't have one. Cosmic Grandpa goes on to say, dang, EA is an IT guy. I curate a museum of computer history.
Oh, there you go, Dan. Okay,
you two need to connect here. Cosmic Grandpa,
get on the first Apple. Action. Do you have the first Apple computer?
That's a great question.
The first gaming
that was
Vector.
Oh, Vector. Okay.
And I had every game.
Wow, that's
okay. So
man,
my mom, I remember, because I remember like yesterday we got that. So I'm just going to talk about the Dell computers.
Yes.
We can go when they first came out. We just going crazy on that.
Jeez, man, you and Cosmic Grandpa need to do a podcast together. Yeah, Cosmic Grandpa, are you on social media? Because if you are, you need to send a message or a DM over his way. Apple One and a Vectrex in the museum that he has. Okay. You just answered one of your questions there, I believe.
Love
good Lord. And then he also goes on to say, we'd have definitely been high school buddies if the circumstances were different.
Well, hey, like I told you from DC, but I went to college there. My home is actually Pittsburgh. So I went
the Steel City of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, wow. Where I grew up at. It's kind of weird. I was born in Cleveland. And
oh my gosh, you were everywhere.
Yeah, my dad,
Cleveland.
My dad was going to college. He met my mom, got married. He was working at the Board of Education.
Oh.
And he was working to finish his degree in theology. He went up going, and then he moved.
He's in Pittsburgh.
You're in Pittsburgh, man?
He says, He says, I'm in Pittsburgh. Look at that.
Okay. All right. So then where at? Because I grew up in Wilkins Township. I went to Turtle Creek High School, which is now Woodland Hills High School.
Yep.
It's Churchill, Swissville, and Turtle Creek. And I know all my boys. I went to school with Michael Lee. I went to school with Jason Taylor from the Miami Dolphins. I know all of them. Those are my boys.
And then he says, you now have a reason to come back and visit Pittsburgh.
I just visited. I actually just visited my boy. Mark, he just retired from the police department.
Oh.
And went there.
Respect.
Much respect.
Much respect for that one. Goodness gracious. Look at all the connections. Oh my God.
Well, and actually, I do need to go to Pittsburgh. You're right. I do need to go to Pittsburgh. I definitely want to go to the Pittsburgh Comic Con there. That is my goal for next year.
Oh, okay. Next year, 2026, as one might say.
2026. Lord's willing, if we're all living.
Yes.
So that's the goal.
Yes.
Not
Lord,
anywhere.
in the magic word, in the certain words that people say in certain senses, God willing. Just saying. And for those of you who are just joining us now on Freewheeling Fridays, thank you for being here. Hello there. Don't forget to like and share. There you go. Don't forget to like and share this with all your closest friends. If you have any questions for the historian over here, because clearly he knows more than I can learn in a week, EA Brown and DEATHBLADE. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. We do want to say thank you to all the people who support the Madness Entertainment Group, and also some great creators out there who have some stuff going on in their neck of the woods right now. So let's give a shout out to these kind folks right here. Take a look.
Beyond the world we know is a place where reality bends and time stands still. A place where legends, fairy tales, and nightmares are real. A world where legends are born and destinies collide. Alice has spent her life lost in an interdimensional rift known as Wonderland, and it forged her into a deadly bounty hunter. With her ancient clockwork guardian Big Ten by her side, they hunt the things that stalk the shadows of Wonderland. Alice Lost in Wonderland issues 1 and 2 launch May 6 on Kickstarter. Follow along at GoMrFish.com.
I am Bo-Katan, and you are watching us on Madness Comic Network.
Oh, thanks, Bo-Katan. Appreciate you giving us a shout out there.
Star Wars, definitely.
Well, as we all know in Star Wars, this is the way.
Yes.
It is the way, man. It's the only way. No, I'm just kidding. There are many ways to get to somewhere where you're going. But with that being said, goodness gracious, man. I mean, you're kicking tail, taking names. You're fresh out of the gate. You're already making a huge impact in the business, the industry. People in Georgia are taking notice. People in Pittsburgh are taking notice. People in California are taking it. And even so, Cosmic Grandpa has a response to something that was stated earlier. He says, we just did a broadcast from Steel City Con in Pennsylvania, right here in the Madness Comic Network last month. Mm-hmm. And then he goes on to say, I had a business on Ardmore and Forest Hills. Hopped over to Wilkinsburg for lunch regularly.
Yes. Nice.
Yeah. Goodness gracious. So many familiar faces in familiar areas.
Wilkinsburg. That's my stomping grounds. Definitely.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah. Let's see here. Acres of Movie says, what is your favorite depiction of any comic book character featured in a film or television program? That's a deep one right there. Favorite iteration or favorite depiction of a comic book character in a movie or TV show? There's so many to choose from, because how many iterations of Spider-Man have we had? 30? How many Batmans have we had? 25? I mean, so many. What would you choose?
That's a good question.
I mean, who's the better Punisher? Is it Dolph Lundgren or is it John Bernthal? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I think, the Punisher, the show is different than the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're talking about, well, there's only been one Punisher show. So, I think they depicted him very well. But I think the guy, Lundgren, I liked him, but I liked the other guy after him.
Thomas Jane?
Thomas Jane.
Yeah, 2004, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I thought he played Punisher very well.
He's really good.
He's really good, and I like him.
Mm.
I think he really depicts the character very well.
Frank Castle.
Right, and the guy that is playing Daredevil on the TV series,
Charlie Cox.
Charlie Cox is killing it. He's killing it, and then of course, I won't even. Luke Cage.
Mike Coulter.
Mike Coulter is the right guy.
He's a good actor too, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a very good actor.
He's a big dude too. I met him at a Comic-Con some years ago, and I got to tell you, I'm 5'8". This guy's like up here somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm just like, dang, this guy's jacked.
Yeah, he's good. One of the things, and that's one of the things that we were saying.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to story and development, it's all about it's really engaging with the audience. And I noticed the ones that write with the true stories from the comics are the ones that win. You can tell the ones that don't use the comics because they're all over the place. And I feel, the directors for Daredevil television series, they killed it. That's the best series on television right now.
A lot of people have said that not too long ago or even recently.
Right now, you can't. There are some good TV series. The Last Among Us is a good one too. I like that one.
Don't you mean The Mandalorian Part 2? No, I'm just kidding. Because Pedro Pascal is literally in every movie and TV series that's on right now. He's in, what is it? He's the Mandalorian. He's the main character on The Last of Us, which is a video game based television series. He's Mr. Fantastic in the new Fantastic Four. So I'm like, you're everywhere.
You know what? I don't know if I see him as Mr. Fantastic. I don't see it.
Especially with the stash, man. I can't buy that.
I don't see that.
Great actor, but I just don't see him as Reed Richards. He doesn't have a Reed Richards vibe at all.
Yeah, I just thought that was kind of weird. But
we'll see when the movie comes out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you going opening weekend to see Fantastic Four? The early years, the new film coming out?
Yes.
I'm assuming you're going to be front row center. You've been front row center for some of the biggest movies in history because they're all filmed right down the street from you. So it's like you've seen. Because correct me if I'm wrong. Did you go opening weekend to see Brave New World when Cap came out?
Actually, I took my daughters. They like going to. They like going to these theaters where you can eat in the theaters, and you're spending $300.
Oh, jeez.
My daughters, they love going to movies, but they love to eat. So, and then they bring their friends, and of course, their friends mysteriously have no money. So what happens? You're paying for everybody. Where's your mother at? Oh, she just left. I was like, okay, whatever.
Oh, yeah. Let the parents pay for everything. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So
it's one of those catch-22s.
But that's
maybe
that's one of the things that I think people are going to see about our book is that they're going to see the pain, they're going to see the agony. One of the things that one of the things when we were writing this book, and our editor is Ringo Award winner Chuck Pino.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know Chuck, but Chuck is pretty prominent in the business.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, and he came on, and it was kind of hilarious because he's big time guy, and I interviewed him, and he was like, "I can't believe you actually interviewed me, Ed. I thought you were gonna say the job is yours." I was like, "Well, man, I gotta first make sure you good for my team. I just can't just say you're hired." And it was hilarious. But Chuck has done a great job with us and making sure that we continue that lore. And then also my partner, that came on that has come back since Philip Maddox. We worked really well to really create something that I think the fans are going to definitely enjoy and love. You're going to be thinking something and it's something totally different. One of the things that I think that was kind of what we wanted to show was you got a guy who's going through so many issues right now. And it's not just mentally, but it's also physically. So you're going to see that.
Boy, this is getting deep, and it's past my bedtime. No, I'm kidding. It's not past my bedtime, but it is a deep parted discussion. I'm just joshing you on that last part.
Yes.
But Cosmic Grandpa goes on to say, I like Pedro Pascal best as the Viper when he was in the TV series Game of Thrones, where everybody dies at the end of every episode.
That was another good one. Yes.
Yeah, and then he goes on to say, just because of how it ended, wink, wink, hint, hint. Okay, well, the only thing I know about Game of Thrones is that everybody dies in the end. Everybody dies at the end of every episode or every season. Yes. And there was a red wedding. And I went on social media one time, and I went on YouTube, and I watched the entirety of the Red Wedding just to get an idea of what Game of Thrones is. When I saw all these people getting killed, I'm like, dude, if this is what the show is, this is like depressing. Like, who wants to watch this? I don't know. But then someone told me later on, after I had seen that piece of footage, EA, they said to me, well, you got to see the whole show to understand what's going on. You really got to see the whole show and start from the beginning, man. I know it's kind of rough in the first season, but watch the first 8 seasons, man, because it's some of the best television ever made. And I'm like, I don't know, man. People dying. There's some excuse me for saying this, orgy scenes. I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch this every 30 minutes. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
But you know what though? The thing about Game of Thrones was it depicted what happened during that time period.
Well, that's just not how. Hashtag that's not how Ryan would have lived.
Right, of course it would not. But if you lived in that time period, and that's the thing that I was trying to tell people about.
Oh yes.
One of the things that we wanted to make sure was we wanted to make sure that we set the tone, we set the period. The period takes, we're starting in 1996.
That was a good year too.
Yeah. So where to look?
That was a good year.
Yeah. So we're starting there. That's where we're starting. And we're, giving you that look and feel, and then we're moving forward, that's what people can expect, when it comes to storytelling. And that's the thing that I liked about Game of Thrones. And that's kind of why I think it adds more depth. We're not there just to be cheesy. Like I told someone, this is a mature comic book. There's slash gore. There is sex scenes, but they're not. As you notice, we didn't advertise ours because it wasn't meant to be. It's something that is natural.
A different kind of animal. Yeah.
It's a natural thing. It's part of the story. If it's not part of the story, it's not going to be there. It's not going to happen. You're going to see a man and his wife console each other. She's being a loving wife, partner. And so that's natural. I don't need to sell that. That's, I don't believe in, I feel sometimes you get these women characters, they're hardly got any clothes on. Hey, that's all that you think they are? That's how you're going to sell them? No. One thing you're going to know about our women characters is they're good. They will kick your butt and take names. Okay.
All right. I believe you, man. I have no, what's the expression here, folks? We have no doubt.
Yeah.
We have no doubt. And then let's see him. Some people have said, Cosmic Grandpa says, yeah, Pedro Pascal's death was especially gruesome in Game of Thrones back in the day. And then he says, even more gruesome than what went down in The Last of Us. Now, are you saying
that was painful?
Are you saying that Pedro is not in season 2 of Last of Us? He's only in like the first episode, maybe 2 of them, and then they just whack him for the daughter, and then the daughter has to do everything on her own now without her dad? That's kind of lame.
Yeah, well, it follows the game.
Oh, so I didn't know that the dad died. So
yeah, he dies in the game, and so he's looking for Abby. She's looking for the one that killed her. And actually, they spared us because it was gross on the game how they did them. The only thing I hate about that, what they did to Pedro on the game, it just made it worse because they just prolonged it. Like it was just painful. Okay, kill the guy because you're already beating him, breaking every bone in his body, whatever.
Well, that's now I know. Now I don't even know if I want to watch Last of Us now that Mandalorian gets killed off.
No, but it becomes more interesting. I mean,
okay.
that's another series. You know, that's another series that I think they have really done a really good. I mean, HBO, they have done some pretty good job. They've done a good job with that, and I have to give them credit because they have stayed true to the story of the game,
which is fair.
And Game of Thrones, they have stayed true to the story. There have been some things that are a little bit different, but they have stayed true to it. So one of the things, that I want people to feel that when they're looking at the monsters, they're looking at the things. For vampires, there is a sexuality to them, but there's also a human side. They're not just monsters.
Well,
yeah.
There is an expression. There are things that go bump in the night, Agent Miles, and we are the ones who bump back. Anyway, Acres Movie says, who would you cast in a Death Blow adaptation if it were made possible? Live action or animated, who would you cast? In DEATHBLADE.
DEATHBLADE?
Yeah, in DEATHBLADE. I think they meant to say DEATHBLADE. They just, threw in a different word. But who would you cast in a DEATHBLADE adaptation?
Okay, who would I play? That's a good question. DEATHBLADE, who would I play? Who would play? Well, you got Ambrose, young Ambrose. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Wesley Snipes, because that's who I kind of built Ambrose kind of on a little bit. Wesley Snipes would be my Ambrose.
Okay. Anybody else you would cast in this one?
For the women, his wife. That's a good question. It will probably be a newcomer because his wife is mixed. She's half British, half Asian. So it would be an Asian star that I would probably pick for a mixture of an Asian star.
Okay. Fair enough.
That. Now, if I had the guy that would play M for me will be Stratham because that's who I built M out of.
Oh, okay. Interesting casting.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I like the guy that plays John Wick. I took a combination. M is a combination.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves is good, but he's a combination of Stratham and Keanu Reeves. So I'm giving you guys spoilers a little bit. John
Wick. Just don't kill the dog.
Yeah. M is. You guys are gonna see what M is about. He's the type of guy that he's not merciful.
Oh boy.
He's coming with bad intentions.
Bad intentions.
He's coming bad intentions. And one of my thing too is we didn't use the Superman syndrome. You're gonna not so much in this. It's more the introduction, and we're setting the foundation of the story so you guys can follow and we got some spoilers. We got some things that are gonna make you go, but you're gonna see some things where they do get hurt. They can recover. No Superman syndrome. Not doing that. That makes it very difficult, very hard.
Yeah.
One thing that we've been working on issues 2, 3, and 4. We want to show that, and I'm not sure if you were able to see, share some of the art that we did for some of this. that I gave to you. But I think if the fans see the work that we have done, you're going to be really amazed. And that's one of the things that I really liked about Shit Talk. And they took some angles and shots. And one of the things that we, you're like I was telling your counterpart, you really, for horror comic books, there really isn't splash pages. And so, yeah, we broke that rule. We created splash pages. But the splash pages were going to be something that meant something. It was a meaningful factor. So.
Well, I got you. And then Cosmic Grandma goes on to say, "Ooh, all this you're discussing with us here on this episode that's cool." Yeah. So you got a new fan here. I think you and Cosmic Grandpa are maybe cut from the same cloth as you come to the same neighborhood from Pittsburgh,
definitely
parts of Pittsburgh and things like that. So
yeah, Jackson, which part of Pittsburgh is he from? Because I lived in Wilkins Township, on the borderline of Monroeville.
Yeah, that's another question at Cosmic Grandpa. Where are you from like in Pittsburgh? What part of the area or part of that great state of Pennsylvania? There's also Amish country in Pennsylvania, believe it or not. There's a Comic-Con in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which is a part of Amish country. So there you go.
I've been to Lancaster too.
Fun. Oh, you have been to, okay, so you're familiar with the area.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. And if anyone's interested, Shore Leave, which is a sci-fi themed convention, will be held July 11th through the 13th of this year, 2025, in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So check out shore-leave.com because a lot of the cast members from Starship Troopers are going to be in attendance.
Oh, nice.
Some Star Trek alumni are going to be in attendance. I can't remember which one specifically. I apologize. The names aren't coming to me right off the top of my head. I apologize. But they're from some of the newer shows like Strange New Worlds and Discovery. So if you want to look up your listings, www.shore-leave.com is where you can, and pre-registration is still taking place. You can buy your tickets. Join us. We're going to be there on Sunday, July the 13th. I'm going to be hanging out with my friend Jeff. We're going to be meeting up with Dina Meyer and Casper Van Dien from Starship Troopers because, cool. I mean, Starship Troopers is cool. It's kind of a badass film. And the only good bug is a dead bug, It's
Now, they did a lot of movies out of that one. And I gotta say, I still think the first one is classic. Period.
Well, who did? Yeah, I mean, Denise Richards, as she was becoming Denise Richards was in that. I mean, let's not forget, folks, it's one of the few movies where, excuse me for saying this, I know this is kind of going off a different part of the movie business here, but this is one of the few movies where, Denise Richards doesn't have any skin in the game, if you know what I'm saying. She's fully clothed.
You're right. She's fully clothed. You are exactly correct.
In this movie, it's Dina Meyer, Casper Van Dien, and the other female cast members that kind of get it on because in this iteration of the Armed Forces, everyone's treated equally. Nobody cares. So it's like if a man and woman are naked in the locker room, it works for them. If nobody likes it, they can go on to something that everybody was equal.
Well, see, here's the thing. That's exactly what I was saying about art. It's not something that is going to be like, oh, we're trying to sell it and we're trying to no. If it belongs there in the story, it's going to be there in the story. So that's kind of where that's kind of where our story is, how it looks. It's not, it's natural. It's nothing to be goo goo gaga over.
I haven't heard that phrase in a while.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
But
like that, right.
But I hear what you're saying. Cosmic Grandpa finally answered the $2 million question. He says, I came from Monroeville. Before that, I lived in Altoona.
Oh, okay.
And then he goes on to say, I live in the North Hills now, and I had a brewery on the north side on Troy Hill, to answer the question.
Okay. I know exactly. I know exactly. That's what's up.
So that's where he was, or was, if not.
Oh, yes. The famous high school out there, man. Okay.
That's what it is. So there you go. There's your $2 million question.
So you came from Memphis, so did you graduate from Gateway High School? Because that was a rivalry of ours.
Oh dear.
That was a huge rivalry. That was
a huge rivalry?
Yeah, it was a big rivalry.
Big deal.
Gateway is like, at that time, Gateway and Woodland Hills were like two football factories going at it. It was like the Ravens and the Steelers. I mean,
I was going to say, you're from the Steel City. We in Maryland, one of the 3 commandments is thou shalt not like Pittsburgh. No offense, but I've never been to Pittsburgh, and nor do I watch football because I'm not a sports fan. I mean, I used to watch pro wrestling back in the day. I used to watch NASCAR. I watched NASCAR back in the day, but other than that, I just don't really care for sports. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It's all right.
Not a sports fan, but I did watch wrestling and NASCAR when I was a youngin or a youngling or a young apprentice. I was watching Monday nights between WCW and WWF at the time. I was watching NASCAR on Sunday afternoons with my dad. We've been to Dover International Speedway, also known as the Monster Mile, for those of you who are wondering about NASCAR's nicknames. Because a lot of tracks have nicknames.
Have you been to Daytona and the one over here in Atlanta?
Well, here's the funny thing about that. We meant to go to Daytona at one point, but it never materialized. However, my brother and my dad actually had the pleasure of going to one of the bigger tracks. In this case, the track where you can go over 200 miles on, and that's Talladega, baby.
Talladega. Oh man,
they went to Talladega one year, and I was so mad and jealous that I couldn't go at the time because I think I was like in elementary or middle school, so I really couldn't take too much time off from school. But my brother and my dad went, and I said, "How was it?" They said, "Oh yeah, we had a great time. It was just very hot."
It's crazy. I've seen
because it's Alabama. It's Talladega, Alabama.
Yeah, I've seen that track because you go past it. We go past when we were going to Birmingham. Over 100,000 people.
Is it 100,000?
Over 100,000 people packed that, and I'm trying to think. They packed that place. I mean, they don't. I'm not sure they pack it now, but when I went to
with the infield, yeah.
I mean, it's just
it's a huge track, man.
Just be all over the place. I remember we went there. Traffic was just like.
It was that bad, right?
That bad. It was like, man.
It was that bad.
It's like going to a Penn State game, and
my friend in
Ohio State game.
I was gonna say my friend in PA is a Penn State fan, so watch what you say.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, traffic. I mean, it's the only game in town. I mean, I'm a Pitt fan. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, you're a Pitt fan.
I'm
okay.
A Pitt fan. Okay, I keep it real.
Oh boy.
But it's all good. It's all good. They need to play again either. But
different comments.
But
jeez. That's a big track though. Talladega is huge.
Yes, it is.
Isn't it a 2.5 mile track?
Yes, it is. Miles? It's a huge, and they actually played a football game there.
They played a football game?
Yes.
Get out of here.
It was West Virginia. I think it was Virginia Tech or something like that.
What?
Yeah.
When did this happen? I don't even.
A long time ago.
Oh damn!
They played on that track, and it was packed.
Oh, it must have been stacked house, man.
Yeah, I was like,
that's crazy,
man. But they played on it, which was kind of cool.
Talladega, Alabama. Yeah, my brother and my dad. God rest his soul. We miss you, Dad. We love you. They went down to Talladega many years ago, and they had a good time, but it was hot. But I do remember going to, like I said, I've been to Dover International Speedway. It's a monster mile. It's not that big of a track. Like compared to Talladega, like let's put it to you this way here on the screen. Dover International Speedway is like this, whereas Talladega's like it's a big round, like crazy.
You don't even see my hands. It's like this.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the size of five football fields. It's insane. But yeah, we had some good memories going to the tracks. We went to the Busch Series races. We went to Winston Cup when it was Winston Cup, and Busch when it was Busch. Before they all got taken over by stupid sponsors. Concert Grandpa says, I'm a Penn State alumni over here. Being from Altoona, it's awkward on Pitt football Saturdays.
Well, hey, you know what? I can't talk too much. Pitt hasn't been doing too well. But it'll be okay. I mean, you guys should have won. You guys should have won.
Yeah.
Big Ten, but I'll leave that at that. I'm not gonna.
It's all good, man.
It's all good. It's all good because they all represent the state. Hey,
I was gonna say,
the Eagles won. So hey,
Yeah, even though the mayor doesn't know how to spell the word Eagles, EAGLE. I'm like, what? Did you see that interview she was cutting? That promo she tried to cut? Like, what do we say? We say E. Da, da, da. And I'm like, you can't even spell your own team's name. What's the matter with you?
Yeah, that's scary.
That was weird when she misquoted or misspelled that there. EA. I thought to myself, okay, maybe we should take some time away from Pennsylvania for a while.
Yeah. But one of the things too, it was kind of funny because when we were choosing cities and stuff, how we wanted to represent, I was going to use Pittsburgh, but
were you?
But Gotham people, as quiet as it kept, Gotham is actually Pittsburgh because you see the bridges and everything that they use because you got the different bridges in Pittsburgh.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah,
the bridges.
The movie was done in Pittsburgh.
Well, okay.
So I was going to use Pittsburgh, and then guys like, Ed, you can't do that. You're from Pittsburgh. I said, well, yeah.
I know the city. I know what I'm doing.
I want to use the city. But we end up choosing, when we're using vampires, we chose Seattle.
Seattle.
Because it's kind of like cloudy.
And it rains a lot.
And it rains a lot. And
yeah.
it's kind of
I've been to Seattle. I know what it's like.
And Seattle's nice, Seattle's not a bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
But we chose it. We went there and we chose because of the culture, because of the different we felt that as vampires that they could kind of evolve and really evolve in that area. And then we are using native Indian lore as well.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Respect. There you go.
Yeah, we're definitely so people are going to definitely see some things and they're going to be like, wow, you guys really put your foot in that. Yeah, we did.
We kind of went this way, even though we thought we were going to set it in Pittsburgh, but let's just put some people in Seattle. Why not?
And I sent you something. I'm not sure if you saw something. It was the first suit to the second suit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I believe excuse me. I think I did. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's the first suit. When we did the first story, Ryan, we thought it was going to work. But then we said, look, that's not scary. Why would somebody scared going to put on a mask and go out there and really, are they really going to buy that? Are they really going to buy that? No, they're not. And that was too superhero. So I'm friends with one of the top young producers, executive producers out there. Works for Lucasfilms.
Oh, that's kind of a big name that's only been around for 50 years.
Yes. Yeah. Faraz Hamid. Remember that name. He's done all the big movies. And he introduced me to Virginie, and her company is Art of Direction. They do all of the designs for DC, Marvel, and stuff like that. So I went to her and I said, look, we need to redo this suit. So they actually simplified it. So we said, if it's going to be something evil, if it's going to be something to take on evil, it needs to come from within. So people are going to see what happens. It's going to come from within. And that's how that suit came about. They took all of everything that we want and they built it within that suit. The DEATHBLADE is the blade that takes out evil. And it also has other powers or abilities that you're going to see. He's not, like I said, he's not going to have a gun. He's got all powers built within and martial arts and stuff like that.
You're the best around. Nothing in the world can keep you down. Sorry. Going back to 1984, I wasn't even there for that.
And there's a surprise on the cape. That's not a cape, folks.
There's more to this.
I just gave you a spoiler. So
no, I get it. In other words, there's more to this than meets the eye. I completely understand. From your standpoint, though, what are some of the rewards about being an indie comic creator?
Say it again.
What are some of the rewards about being an indie comic creator in your eyes?
You can control your own IP. Number one. Growing up, my dream job was to work at Marvel. If you were to ask me today, would I want to work at Marvel? No. One reason is I control my IP. I can be original. I have the ability to control my destiny and build a brand. That's huge, because if you're at DC or Marvel and you create something, that goes to them. That doesn't go to you. And I'm able to leave a legacy, and that's important.
Very, very good. Leave your legacy, as Ray Lewis would say. Yeah, I may not be a football fan, but I do know who Ray Lewis is. I mean, being in the Maryland area, I know who Ray Lewis is. I've seen clips and bits and pieces of Ravens football, but the other thing I've noticed is Ray Lewis is very good at motivating people. So well done, Ray Lewis. Go Ray. And he's also, I believe, if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, he's in the Hall of Fame already. So
yes, he is.
Yeah, well done, Ray. You earned it. With that being said, flip side of the coin, though, what are some of the biggest challenges about being an indie comic creator?
I think one of the biggest challenges for indies is promotion and marketing, getting above the trees. There's thousands of other guys like me. So my goal is to get that audience, catch that attention. That's a challenge. There's a lot of things I would love to go to every Comic-Con, but that's just not going to happen. So you have to pick the Comic-Cons that are good fits for you to reach your audience and find other ways to reach your audience as you build. And, Kickstarter is phase 1 for us. Phase 2 is the Comic-Cons that we're going to start. We're doing our first one. We may do 1 or 2 near the end of the year. We've already been approved. So we're just trying to see if we, going to be able to do that this year. We know we want to do 1. So I would say it's just a lot of operations. I work as an IT. That's my first job, pay the bills, keep the lights on. This is my second job. When my job ends, I'm automatically working. I immediately jump into comic book mode. And so, that's challenging, managing your time, and also being a father. I have 2 daughters. My youngest one, she's in the 8th grade. My oldest one graduated. She's getting her master's. So, it's a lot.
Yeah, your young Jedis are growing up so fast, and that's what happens with kids these days. They just tend to grow up so gosh darn fast. 1 minute they're the size of a football, and then the next thing you know, you're sending them off to
school,
college or something. It's like, dang.
Yeah, it's trying to play both. You got 3 jobs, and
it's a lot.
And 4 jobs. I'm a husband too, taking care of my wife, making sure she's solid, and of course, me doing this comic book and the money I spend.
The missus is probably wondering, honey, why are you doing this?
Yeah, she's not a comic book fan. My wife.
No, she doesn't have any nerd cred. None of that.
Yeah, she's not into that.
Complete opposite.
Now my daughters, we like going to movies. We like, they
dig it.
That stuff. So.
Do they read comics? Do your daughters read comics at all?
My youngest daughter is a manga lover. She loves manga.
Oh, there you go. I see it. Okay.
She's in it. My oldest daughter was never. She's into movies and shows like that, but she's not into comics. My youngest one is. But
there you go.
On the manga side, which I was going to tell you, that cover that you showed, the first one that you showed, everyone thought that was a manga cover.
Really?
That cover, I'm going to say that cover is the #1 cover on our Kickstarter. That sold more.
Oh wow!
That cover right there. People love that cover, and we have on the early bird. We had an early bird where we did. It's a holographic cover, and it's beautiful.
Wow, that is just.
It is. I mean, we were trying to do it for a week because we started early and we just ended this past Wednesday. We have 200 covers of that, and those covers will never be made again. We will never do those covers again.
Limited.
Yeah, it's limited covers. So we have 200, and so we'll, like Comic Cons, or we may do, we may say, hey, we got 10 of these, first come, first serve, and then we're doing a CGC authenticity on it. So, I mean, you can't get any better than that.
Go big or go home, one might say.
Yeah.
Which I understand. What advice would you give to aspiring indie comic creators out there today watching this right now?
Put a budget together, put a game plan, get a mentor, get people that actually care. And this is one thing that we didn't really talk about. My team, I have a really good team. They're not yes men. I don't believe in yes men. If you are a yes man, you can't work for me, because I don't want no one just saying yes. Why are you saying yes? That's like telling the king he's doing great, but he's naked. It doesn't work. You know, I think that it's imperative that you have a good team. You keep it limited. And number one, put a budget. Have a budget and stick by it.
There you go. Enough said. Mic drop. Sorry, don't have it here on set, but I'll try to add that at some point or another. But no, that's great advice. Great advice. Surround yourself with people who are.
I wish you could have showed the trailer.
Well, unfortunately, I'm on a different kind of a web browser that is not very good at sharing one screen and being able to play stuff. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I'm in a different web browser than I normally, because I have 2 different StreamYards for 2 different reasons. Sorry about that. But
the fans can saw the trailer, man. You guys. But you know what? You can see the trailer if you go to the Kickstarter.
It's all there. It's all there. All the information's there. It's in the comment section down below. You guys can check it out. It's more than happy to be available and for you to check out all that kind of stuff. Cosmic Grandpa says, budget, mentor, scope, great advice for any aspiring business person. As Cosmic
and you got to be a dreamer. You got to be a dreamer, because if you can't dream, and like I tell someone, there's no lack of money. It's lack of vision, because money is always there.
Can we print that on a shirt?
Yes.
Let's print that on a shirt.
Yes.
Let's go, man. Let's get that from EA Brown Enterprises or Skull Valley Comics. Let's go.
So, you know, like I said, I would put that. The one mistake I made was I overspent. You know, I spent 50 grand easily. That's crazy for an indie, period. And a lot of people thought, when they look at the book, they thought it was a mainstream book. But, you know, it was a lot of learn for me. You know, I had to learn a lot of things, and I'm still learning. But I can tell you this, you're getting a great book. We've had the critics. We've already had critics look at the book. We've not got one bad, Ryan, not one bad thing said about the book. They love it.
There you go, man. That's hashtag like a boss. As said, and,
that's not coming from me, because I didn't say a day came for them.
Yeah, no. No, I hear you, and it's not.
And that's what kept me up at night. If you want to say what kept me up at night, that kept me up at night. You know, you do all that work. And that's one thing I got to give to OG Jibba Moli from Gripe Comics. He was the first one to see my script. And he kind of ripped me a new one because he felt it was weak. But here's the thing that I love about him. He broke me down, but then he showed me how to fix it. And that's today why I will always respect him for that. Because you have a lot of people, they see your comic and then, you know, they talk bad about you, or they don't say anything and they say, well, whatever. But he didn't do that. And that's why I have so much respect for him. And he challenged me and he told me something, and I will always take this. That's why I said this. He said, Ed, we've seen Spawn. We've seen these other heroes, Superman. Give me something that I haven't seen. Give me something that's going to keep my attention. And I've always said this moment, if I get your moment, I got you. And we're going to get that moment when you read DEATHBLADE. You're going to be on that book for 30 minutes. Because when you read it the first time, you're going to be like, did I miss something?
Gotcha. Good stuff, man. And congratulations on that. That's fantastic. So you mentioned you're in the process of going to conventions, going to signings, all this other stuff. But I'm just out of curiosity, though. What have been some of your best experiences at conventions as an attendee, or maybe you were there at one point as a vendor before you started doing the comic book stuff? So just out of curiosity, what have been some of your favorite moments from going to conventions? Whether it's, you know, you yourself,
actually,
or you were there with friends and family.
My first convention was the C2E2.
Chicago with them Bears. Okay.
And I would say going there as a spectator, you know, I've been a huge comic book reader, but I never really went to conventions. I never did conventions. C2E2 was my first one. And I tell you what captivated me, seeing hundreds of people dressed up in all different type of characters, Star Wars, Batman, manga, seeing all those people there, that caught my attention real quick. And my wife was with me, and she's not into comics. She was even blown away. She was like, "This is serious? I said, "Yeah, this is serious. These people take it serious and much respect." I said, "If you're going to do a comic book, you better do it right, because they're going to talk about you and they're not going to buy it." So I would say when I went there, just to see the ambiance, the excitement, the real seriousness of how they feel about their characters. And that right there sold me immediately.
All right. Just out of curiosity, when you were at C2E2, do the names Kelly and Crayley from Phoenix Sisters cosplay ring any bells, or the name Jody McPhee, an indie comic writer, ring any bells?
Jody McPhee sounds familiar.
Yeah, he tables at C2E2 every year. Phoenix Sisters cosplay, which are Kelly and Crayley, two good friends who just happen to cosplay together, and they have their own little small business going. Phoenix Sisters Entertainment is what it's called.
Someone asked me, would we want DEATHBLADE to be a cosplayer? I said, yes, we do. So if there's anyone out there, we're open.
Possibilities are endless, folks, for sure.
Listen, I didn't tell you something too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the suit or not, but it resembles a character that I've always loved, Evel Knievel.
Jeez.
The suit.
Oh boy.
The suit, Evel Knievel. So that, hey, we'll see a little stuff there. So
that's cool. That's cool. I believe I did see it in some of the correspondence that you and I have had over the last several weeks, or a week or two, I should say, not several weeks. But yeah, I didn't notice the Evel Knievel connection until you said something. So yeah, now it's starting to click in the back of my mind. Speaking of which, have you seen the film from the early 2000s, Ghost Rider, with Nick Cage and Eva Mendes? Yes. And if so, what did you feel about Nick Cage taking on the role of Johnny Blaze? Do you think he was the right build? Do you think they built him right for it? Or do you think, nah, he shouldn't have been doing it?
I think he was the right guy for it. I think he did a good job. I like how they try to make him look young when his hair was receding, but that was good. Which mine is, but yeah, I think they chose the right one. I think he fitted perfectly. The only thing I didn't like about it is there really was no direction. When the last one with him and Idris, I really didn't get that.
Spirit of Vengeance, yeah.
There's a it didn't match anything from the first story.
Yeah, didn't make
It didn't match even for the second one. It was kind of like,
it was very weird.
Actually, Ghost Rider is dark, but you didn't set up the story. It just was blah,
Blah. Yeah. No, I get it. But yeah, Jody McPhee is a friend of mine. He's an indie comic creator who goes to C2E2 every year. Crayley and Kelly of Phoenix Sisters cosplay. Kelly's actually an indie writer. She's going to be on our show this weekend. She's going to be on an episode of the Writer Showcase, where we gather a group of we have a round table of different writers of different genres come together, and they talk to us about the writing process. They take questions from the audience and all that kind of jazz. So if anyone's interested in that, check it out on Saturday.
Definitely. Definitely, if you guys have any openings, definitely would love to be on that.
For sure. We'll save you a seat. I can save you a seat at the table. I mean, we have 4 people every show, and it's monthly. It's a once-a-month show. We make it very special that way. So
yeah, definitely.
Someone reached out to me earlier today. We're going to have that individual for next episode, because obviously this week has already been long booked, because I try to get things booked in advance to make sure everybody's got our ducks in a row. But this week on May the 24th, we're going to be going live at 7:00 Eastern with the Writer Showcase on ANACO channel. So make sure you check that out if you're interested in becoming a writer, or you are a writer, but you want to hear from other people within the field. There's nothing wrong with that. We learn from everybody, and we also enjoy hearing from other people. So check that out. I'll send you the link. EA, you're going to get it, so you can tune in tomorrow. Maybe you can say hi to us in the chat. Maybe if you have a question for Kelly, from C2E2, or some of the other people who have been in and around the Chicago with the Bears, or maybe, the Pittsburgh in the Sioux City. Whoever, I don't know. I mean, Kelly's from Wisconsin.
Okay.
It's funny you mentioned Atlanta, because Bobby Nash, crime fiction writer Bobby Nash, he's going to be on with us tomorrow night, and he's in Atlanta, so he might be a neighbor of yours. I don't know, but he's going to be on tomorrow. Then you should tune in. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I'll send you the link, and anybody else is interested, make sure you're following us across all forms of social media, I should say, at an Echo Channel. So that's great. C2E is a big show, one of the biggest shows on the planet. A lot of big fish are in that pond there. Some people are indie. They do it every year. Congrats to them. Congrats to Joe and Crayley and Kelly, and some of the other people that we know of who are there, I should say. And then Cosmic Grandpa has a great question that actually segues into a question we have for you here. Is there a preferred way to reach out to EA to introduce myself?
Yes.
Cosmic Grandpa says.
Yes, there is. We have our social media. If you go and you reach out to me through DEATHBLADE AWK or Skull Valley Comics, we have 2 Instagram pages. You reach out to me and they will alert me, and then I will reach out to you. The team is good at connecting me, so I will touch base.
That's there you go. And then Cosmic Grandpa goes on to say, EA and I will toast to evil, like evil characters or evil stories, dark characters, dark stories, whatever it is. That sounds like a nightmare waiting to happen. No. It may be a dream come true for these 2 gentlemen. Maybe not so much me, because I'm not really big into the horror genre. I respect it. I really do. I'm just not the biggest fan of it. And then he goes on to say, because Ryan is a ducks in a row kind of host, and an awesome host too. Oh, Cosmic Grandpa. Thanks, man. Listen, we do this show every week. We do our best to have fun with it. We do our best to introduce you to a creator you may not be familiar with yet. Maybe they're just getting off the ground. Maybe they have some stuff that has been out for a bit, but maybe there's not. We want to get as many eyes and ears on it as possible, because, and then Cosmic Grandpa goes on to say, Evil Knievel, we'll toast to Evil Knievel. There you go.
Yeah, you go.
They're going to have a toast of a celebration there. Goodness gracious. Why don't we just talk about Johnny Blaze and Nick Cage? I mean, and by the way, anytime Eva Mendes is in a movie, you got to pay attention.
Right? I think she was just eye candy.
Probably, but here's the thing.
She did okay.
Everybody,
did all right.
Yeah, she probably was. But here's the thing, EA. You got to remember something here. When you hear the song Roxanne, one person I'm going to imagine when I'm hearing this song is Eva Mendes, because she plays the character of Roxanne, Johnny Blaze's love interest when they were kids, and then they're all grown up. Which, by the way, isn't like Nick Cage, like in the real lifespan of things, isn't he like 10 or 15 years older than Eva is? I just don't see how that matches up. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, brother. But for the movie, just suspension of disbelief happens all the time in film. Okay, we got to do it every single time we walk into a movie. Sometimes we do it more so than we may have liked to, but that's just the way the business is, right? It's Hollywood. They like to mess with things.
So who would be? Well, we know Nicolas Cage isn't doing
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider anymore.
Yeah, he's long over.
Who will be your Ghost Rider?
Well, here's the thing. I want a fresh face. I don't want someone who's been in the business for 20 years. I want someone who's new, up and coming, maybe has not gotten the chance to really, get a big role for themselves yet. I mean, they got this somewhat. I know he's done some stuff prior to this, but this new guy who's coming in the door to play Superman, David Cornsweet, I don't know who the frack he is, but people tell me he's done a couple of things before Superman. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but to me, he's a fresh face in the bunch. He
kind of reminds. He looks almost like Christopher Reeves.
Well, Brandon Routh was like a dead ringer for Christopher Reeve back in 2006 when Superman Returns was coming out.
This thing I always tell people: the reason why I like Christopher Reeves is always be my Superman is he could be funny and serious at the same time.
And he did that very well in the first 2 or 4 movies.
With Richard Pryor and him, that was hilarious. And yet he was serious. Even though, I mean, that was, let's be honest. That, when they had Richard Pryor in there, that was really kind of like, that was crazy. And then they had, who was playing Lex Luthor? Gene Hackman.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean.
Which he was great.
Yeah, he was great.
My problem is 99% of the Superman fanship and also the human population want to forget that Superman 3 and 4 ever happened because of how terrible they are. I mean, listen. I grew up in the 90s, so I was watching Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, numerous times as a kid. Numerous times. Right. Because I liked at the time, right, guys?
Okay.
I liked the movie. I thought Nuclear Man was a different kind of villain than we're used to seeing going up against Superman, at least for me anyway. And then you got what's his name, Gene Hackman reprising his role as Lex. You had John Cryer coming in as his nephew Lenny, who was, boy, the dude of steel. Boy, you're gonna get it. I mean, which is lame-o, but so funny
campy.
at the same time.
Campy. Okay, it was campy.
But not only that, yeah, you had a very beautiful granddaughter of Ernest Hemingway, Mariel Hemingway.
Yeah.
Is in the movie, and this is like young, up and coming at the time. Mariel Hemingway. This is one of the most beautiful faces I've ever seen in film. Up to that point, by the way, EA. Yeah. And I'm watching this movie. I'm like, hello, Mariel Hemingway. Can we have your phone number, please? You know, because let's face it, she was hot in that movie. She was. Yeah. You know, as Lacey Warfield, right? EA, you remember this?
You're right. You're right.
She was beautiful. Remember when she sat on the desk trying to seduce Clark? I mean, come on, dude. I was like, man, can I be on set when they're filming this?
Okay. I'm trying to figure out then who was playing Lois Lane.
No. Margot Kidder was there. She was there. Margot Kidder was there.
Yeah, but she wasn't. But she
was Lois. She was there.
She was okay, but she wasn't better than. I think it was more sex appeal.
Well, fair. And you're right. It was campy. Let's be honest here, guys. But yeah, look, I could go back and look at this now and think to myself, yeah, Superman 1 and 2 obviously are the cream of the crop when it comes to the Christopher Reeve run. I mean, Superman 2 is my favorite of the two.
Yeah, Superman 2 was good.
Kneel before Zod. I mean, that is just. And then when he shows up, EA, at the end of the movie, when he gets his powers back, because he lost his powers halfway through the movie.
Right.
He shows up and he says, General, would you care to step outside? I'm like, dude, that is a badass mother effing line that only Christopher Reeve could deliver, brother.
And the facial expression that he gives, it's priceless.
It's genius.
And see, so I'll ask you, Henry Cavill, is there a special moment that he says that makes you cringe when you see it?
Cringe, like in other words, I don't like the way he's presented.
No, it's just like, wow.
Oh, what? Like I enjoy how he said.
You'd be like, yeah.
Because here's the funny. This is the thing that's going to cause a stir in the comment section if I haven't done so already. I love Man of Steel. I love Henry Cavill. I love his iteration of the character. I think he did an excellent job with what he was given. The Man of Steel is a great movie. The things that followed up after that, maybe not so much, but Man of Steel is a criminally underrated piece of comic book movie cinema, in my opinion. Henry delivers it so naturally and so well. And plus the fact that you got Costner as Pa Kent, Russell freaking Crowe, the Gladiator himself, as Jor-El, and Diane Lane as Ma Kent. Yeah. I mean, my God, that is like perfection in a bottle that you just can't match, right? But as far as the cringe moment goes, because I know I'm kind of dragging this on here, I would say, I think it's just when he's curious about his origins and he's talking to Jor-El in the spaceship, because, he's by himself with Jor-El. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And Jor-El is going over the history of the planet and what led to their destruction and all that shit. And then he says to his dad, why am I so different from them? You're the sun. Your cells have drunken its radiation, strengthening your muscles, your senses. You've become stronger here than I ever could have imagined. The only way to know,
don't it sound like Spock for Star Trek?
But at the same time, the only way to know how strong is by testing your limits. The whole spiel that Russell Crowe gives Henry is perfect, beautiful filmmaking. It just, in my opinion, it is.
Yeah,
okay? I will defend. I've been a Superman fan since Smallville, the TV series, brother.
Yes.
So I will defend Superman to my dying days. But one thing I will continue to defend, and I will die on this hill, is the fact that Man of Steel is one of the best comic book movies ever made. And not a lot of people get it because I know it's divisive. I know some people like it, some people hated it. I get it. But at the same time, Henry Cavill was the man. All right. Henry Cavill was the dog. He was the boss of the yard. And if they had given him his own freaking trilogy, like they should have given him, then life would be a lot better.
I totally agree with you. I think Man 100%. Of Steel was good. Some of the shots and angles they were shooting was amazing.
His flight scene. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, him hitting. You see all that. That's
all that shit.
And see, that's the stuff when you go even dropping down to my comic book. Those are the things that we want. There's certain things we want to say within our characters. They say certain things. And number one, we didn't do. I don't know if you had a chance to see the book or Sydney had a chance to share the book with you. We didn't, like, you know how certain comic books, they have so much wording and they're wordy. No, I mean,
yeah.
When people
a lot of speech bubble heaviness.
Yeah, there's none of that. I wouldn't call my book a comic. It's a cinematic comic book.
Because you cut right to the chase.
Yeah, we cut to the chase. We're right in the middle.
All right.
You're seeing the action. We're setting up the story.
I respect that.
The action. Then we set the story, and then we leave you with a cliffhanger, and your mouth is hanging, your tongue is hanging out your mouth, and be like, okay, I'm ready for 2. What's up?
Where's part 2, man?
Who's this guy?
Yeah.
Why is
how did this happen?
Yeah, how did this happen? Stuff like that. So those are the things that we want. And you know, like I said, I think like you said, Henry Cavill was good. I felt they did do him dirty.
He got the raw end of the stick, man.
And you know,
I love the guy.
I like the new Superman that came out. You know, you got Superdog in there.
Don't you mean Crypto?
You got, you know,
Hawkgirl's in it, Green Lantern's in it, Metamorpho is in it.
But see, here's my problem. With
Lex Luthor's in it.
Here's my problem with this one.
Yes, this new one.
Superman, that's too many people. Okay, number one. That's too many people.
Too many people in one movie that should be about the big blue Boy Scout.
It should be Superman.
It's a solo movie.
It's a solo. It needs to be about him.
Kal-El of Krypton.
It needs to be about him. And then number one, quit making these series over again. I mean, this one I don't think it's over. You know,
I'm still going to see the movie. Like the movie doesn't come out until July, right? EA and I.
Interesting.
The movie comes out July 11th, if I'm not mistaken, right? Is it July 11th, guys? Mm-hmm. So when the movie comes out, I'm going to go in with an open mind. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to think about it. And then when the movie's over, I'm going to, I'm going to think on it for a while. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to text EA and I are going to text each other. Be like, okay, we got to talk about this because I have thoughts. You have thoughts. Let's have a discussion. I want to talk to you because clearly EA and I are very passionate about the Band of Steel. That is for damn sure. Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, we may do a show on Anti-Quote where we just talk about the movie. We do a review of the movie. We do a spoiler-heavy discussion is what we're going to call it, right?
Right.
So EA and I are going to sit at the table. We're going to get 2 or 3 other people to sit at the table. We're going to talk about this, right? I think we should sit down and talk about it because I've been a fan of Superman since 2006 during the middle run, right? The middle part of the run of Smallville. And I've loved Man of Steel. I liked the director's cut of BVS, like some of the stuff that Zack Snyder was attempting to do. But then again, there was a lot of behind-the-scenes issues. There were behind-the-scenes interference. The studio was interfering with the vision of the director, and that pisses me off to no end. So now that they're rebooting it, EA, with this new cast, with James Gunn taking over the ship,
I like James Gunn.
I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I like the look of certain things in the trailer. I mean, I like the girl who's playing Lois Lane, Rachel Brosnahan, looks fantastic. Yeah, right. I think Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, Lex Luthor, who's played by Beast himself from X-Men, Nicholas freaking Hoult. I mean, that's a heck of a catch, right? He plays a good guy in one franchise. Now he's playing the bad dude in the next one. I'm like, okay, that's called range, fellas. So I'm curious to see where this goes, but I think what's going to happen later on this summer of 2025, EA, myself, a couple other Superman fanatics, because we all have fans out there. We do. And we love this character. I love this character so much. We're going to sit down and we're going to talk about it. And then we're going to give you our 2 cents. Does that sound good to you? I think EA Brown, myself, and a few others are going to sit down and we're going to talk about it.
Well, I tell you, though, the one they have is the Superman, the darker Superman that he's fighting. That was an interesting suit, but that's the original. That's one thing I give Gunn, he does use the comics.
He's got Crypto in there, which is clearly from the comics.
Yeah, different comics. You know, I have to give Gunn, I have to give him credit because he did the DC one.
The Suicide Squad.
He's
done stuff with Guardians of the Galaxy from Marvel.
I don't care about the Guardians of the Galaxy. He nailed it. Now, the only thing I didn't like was the one where he went to go meet his father. I think that was was 2. That was 2.
Was it Superman? Or are you talking about
the Guardians?
Oh, the Guardian. Yeah, I think that was Guardians 2. Yeah, I don't think it was 3.
I didn't understand that because I thought that was kind of weird.
Kurt Russell, I think.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. You know,
Cosmic the Planet.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Bit of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Now the first and the first and the last ones were good.
Yeah. Which is fair. We're going to have to wait and see because we really can't say anything until we've seen the movie. We've sat down, we've talked about it, we've mellowed on it, we've mull on it for a while. EA and I are going to sit down and talk about it because I have thoughts. Obviously, I'm going to have thoughts because I'm a hardcore Superman fan, so I take DC very seriously. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Cosmic Grandpa says, I was going to ask if EA had a Henry Cavill opinion. Well, you just heard it, so.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Henry Cavill. I like him. I think he's a really great actor. I think he did Superman. He did Superman the way that I wanted Superman to be, aggressive, physical, whatever. But
unsure of himself.
But yeah, he's unsure of himself. And my only thing is, I'm trying to figure out: is there something that I can remember that he said that would just be resonating to me?
I gotta think on that. I gotta watch this movie. And I have it on digital.
The
I can go back and watch.
only thing that I could say that probably come close, well, that doesn't count. Justice League was just totally.
Frankenstein's monster of a movie, from two different directors. Although I did like the director's cut more so than the Joss Whedon cut, but that's just me. Yeah. Even though half the film is slow mo. Stop doing it, Zach.
How do you? We got to talk about the Green Lantern because that show's coming up. That's coming up.
Oh, Lantern Corps. I think it's the Corps, isn't it, or Green Lantern Corps, whatever it's called. Yeah. Speaking of high school football, Friday Night Lights, Kyle Chandler plays one of the Lanterns, and then you got I forget who the African American actor is who's playing Jon Stewart.
Yeah, he's a new star that just came.
Which I'm excited. Which, by the way, Kyle Chandler I think he's Hal Jordan, like a grizzled old. Hal Jordan. I'm like, dude, Coach Taylor is Hal Jordan. Give him all the money, please. Yeah, I mean, he's the guy who coined the phrase "clear eyes, full hearts cannot lose." EA Brown, clear eyes, full hearts can't lose.
Well, I think they were good choices. Both of them were good choices. The guy, that new guy,
that new kid on the block,
that new guy,
he looks good.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
Oh, is he?
New. He's an up and coming actor. He's new.
I like. I mean, he looks good in the photo that we got.
Oh, he's gonna
behind the scenes.
He's gonna kill it. I'm letting you straight out. He's gonna kill it.
I'm excited, man. You and I are going to sit down and talk some shop here when it comes to the DC universe moving forward. And then Cosmic Grandpa goes on to say, "I have to ask my wife to look you up on Instagram. I'm banned from the metaverse." Okay, well, you got some work to do, Cosmic Grandpa.
Well, actually, if he wants to go, he can actually go to Skull Valley Comics.
There you go.
Our old page.
Yes.
And if you just put in there and put your contact in, I'll reach out to you.
Booyah. There's your answer to the problem. Cosmic Grandpa's banned from the metaverse.
Yeah, just go to skullvalleycomics.com.
Booyah.
And ignore the page because ignore the site. We're doing a full transfer. There
you go. And then he goes on to say, I'm old enough to remember George Reeves as a kid. So Christopher Reeve was like Avatar to me. Interesting. Boy, Cosmic Grandpa, you're really kicking it old school here. Well, you are a grandpa after all. He says, but do we all agree that we're lucky enough we never saw Nick Cage as Superman in The Death of Superman Lives? God. Yeah, from Tim Burton.
Hold on for a second.
Tim Burton was going to make that?
Yeah, hold on for a second.
Nick Cage?
Let's be honest. Nick Cage, some of the movies he was putting out, he was killing it.
Yeah, I have some of his stuff on DVD, so I know what you're talking about.
He was showing a different versatility of the different actor. Now, him playing Superman, I don't know. I was a little bit caught off guard that they even allow him to do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on, that's kind of hard. I think that's kind of stretching it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just can't see it.
I mean, if you want to play, what's the one Plastic Man? He could probably pull it off.
Anybody else got let's put him in that slot. What was I going to say? Valid thoughts. And the Nakers of the movie goes on to say, who is your all-time favorite villain in any source of media?
Ooh.
Favorite villain in all sources of media, whether it's the comics, the movies, the TVs, the video games, anything. Who's your favorite villain of all time?
Okay. I gotta think. I think
favorite villain. Jeez.
I
know who mine is.
I'm going to go on the limb, and I'm going to say Freddy Krueger.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. Okay. He did some scary shit, man.
Yes,
I'm not gonna lie. I think Nightmare on Elm Street's one of the best horror films ever made, guaranteed. And I've seen it.
Yes.
Okay, so I may not be the biggest fan of the genre,
and you know they're making. They're doing a remake of it. They're doing a remake of it, which I'm scared. I don't know who they're going to choose to play Freddy Krueger.
I thought they already did a remake with Jackie Earle Haley as the character back in 2013 or 2014, whatever it was.
Well, I heard they're rebooting it
again. Oh, get out of here. Let's not talk about that because there's only one Freddy Krueger, and that's come on, that's the OG.
Yeah, he played it, and actually, a lot of the ideas that I did for DEATHBLADE, some of the things
came from that.
Came from that.
See, this is why you don't recast these things, fellas. Just wake up and smell the coffee. Let's see here. Acres of Movies goes on to say, if you could team up DEATHBLADE with any other character in any source of media, who would you choose?
If I chose DEATHBLADE, let me see.
Team up with any other character in any form of media.
Well, DEATHBLADE is a cosmic person.
Galactus, maybe?
Well, he would. Here's the thing about DEATHBLADE. DEATHBLADE kills evil. And what I mean by evil, not someone stealing candy. I'm talking about diabolical evil. So if there's anything evil about you, he's killing you. Period. Pure and simple. Ain't no mercy. That means Spawn would be destroyed. So I would say if he is going to be with someone, it'd be interesting to see him in Batman.
I'm Batman. Insert our own impressions of the character here.
I say him and Batman, or I even say if I wanted to go to a different realm, Moon Knight wouldn't be a bad thing.
Boy, there's an alternate personality waiting to happen.
I mean, they're both messed up, to be honest.
Yeah, they're both cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right? So,
yeah, they're both,
Moon Knight. Yeah. Speaking of which, if someone is interested in the character of Moon Knight, where's a good place for a comic book reader to start? Do you know a good run of Moon Knight that we should look into? Is there a good run of the character that stands out of Moon Knight?
I think the. It's been a while since I read Moon Knight.
Yeah, there's got to be a good run of it out there somewhere.
They got one. I'm trying to figure. It was the most recent one where he was going up with the Midnight Suns.
Oh, really?
Where he goes. I'm kind of giving it away, but he goes into this
dimension or
vampire haven, right?
Oh, geez.
And this is how magnificent he is.
Mm-hmm.
So he puts holy water. Holy water in the thing, and he walks out. And he's of course acting stupid, and then he goes in and he just flicks the match or the lighter, and the water, holy water, comes out and kills them all instantly. Which I just thought that was just like,
I
was like, okay,
that's something.
I mean, he didn't have to use no power or nothing. He just came like,
well, that's
them all, which was just kind of cool how he did it. How he just walked up in there and was like, okay, who's next? You guys want me? Come get me. And then you see them coming, and then all of a sudden you see the water come out, and then they all just like dissipate, which was just kind of freaking cool in a way.
I was gonna say that's it's interesting, kind of creepy. It sounds like something I would see, and potentially, I don't know if this makes, maybe this is not relevant or not, but kind of makes me wonder. Maybe I would see something like this in a Solomon Kane.
Yes, you would. And you know what?
Because me personally, I love Solomon Kane.
Well, then, if you love Solomon Kane, you're gonna love how we did DEATHBLADE, because Solomon Kane he kills evil. Evil draws to him.
Yep, Robert E. Howard, baby.
I'm letting the audience know.
That's OG.
That's how I came up with DEATHBLADE. That was part of my
Solomon Kane.
I would say that was 95% of the idea of where I came up with the Kane.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, if you're interested and you want to know, I mean, granted, this is a little bit off. It's still the same kind of track, right? But it's a little bit like a bit of a side part of it. The book we have behind us here, this is Gideon Kane, Demon Hunter, which
nice.
if you check out White Rocket Books on Amazon, this is edited by Van Allen Plexico with an introduction by Kurt Busiek of the comic book industry. And it's an anthology of this guy, which is a wink and a nod to Solomon Kane. It's pretty cool. And I like this cover because the cover is ridiculously good looking by Jeffrey Hayes of Plasma Fire Graphics at plasmafiregraphics.com.
Yeah, I was trying to see it from here.
Well, here, let me see if I can. Whoops. There we go. There he is. Look at that bad boy.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. And see, that's kind of where, just to give your audience an idea, that's where I really used the idea of DEATHBLADE through Solomon Kane. That's how I got the story. Yep.
WhiteRocketBooks.com. Feel free to pick yourself up a copy. It's pretty good stuff.
Definitely will. I used that because the Kanes, got tricked by a demon who told them they couldn't hold a sword, and that was never the case. And so they end up going into having an agreement with him, and so they're like the guardians of hell itself. So they keep demons from coming out of the blade, but that's how they kill.
This thing's gonna keep falling. I might as well just.
But
I gotta set it. I gotta put it back where it was later.
But that's Solomon Kane. That's an underrated film.
Damn right.
I
love that movie.
I think that movie. And see,
look it up, man. It's free on YouTube with ads right now, guys. I'm not even kidding you. You can stream it for free. On YouTube, and it came out in 2008, 2009 with James freaking Purefoy, who's a great character-based actor. Okay, this guy he knew what he was doing from minute one he shows up on screen to the very end when he has the final showdown with the demon. Okay, so look up Solomon Kane. The original story is written by Robert E. Howard. It's the same guy who created Conan the Barbarian. All right, this is the same guy, the same dude. And a lot of people say that he's like the godfather or like the founder of the sword and sorcery genre. And that's okay. I don't mind it because I've listened to, so far from my experience, I've listened to one Conan the Barbarian audiobook that a friend of mine recommended to me because he's a giant sword and sorcery fan. I liked it. It was The Elephant's Horn, I think it was. Conan the Barbarian, The Elephant's Horn. And then I've watched the movie Solomon Kane. I've read the graphic novel that has a compilation of a lot of the comic book runs that he's had over the years of Solomon Kane. And they are good, man. Like they're really good stuff. And I like Solomon Kane because I like stories of redemption. I like that kind of stuff. And Solomon Kane's a great story of redemption, whereas Conan the Barbarian is just a big muscular dude, crush your enemies, see the children before you, and hear the lamentation of the women. It's like, okay, all right. Let's all right, come on, guys. Like we can do more with this. But I look forward to reading more of Conan the Barbarian because I have the original stories right here in this box below me here. I have Conan the Barbarian Volume 1 from Robert E. It's coming the Conan the Cimmerian. So feel free to look that up too. It's available in paperback or hardcover. Good stuff though, right?
See, those are now you're speaking my world. I all the time, and Solomon Kane, all them. I mean, that's how I came up, and the style I guess I was looking at, like I was stating earlier, is more gothic. It's more
darkish,
It's underworld, but we kind of really create our own mythology, our own feel. We took it and built our own little, we molded under our own, story, or built our own thing and molded it. But yeah, Solomon Kane played a very big role in the Kanes, and people are going to see a lot about it, and I'm excited about it because you guys haven't seen nothing yet.
No, clearly we haven't. And this is why E.A. Brown, even though we're only meeting for the very first time here virtually, of course, through virtual means, we're some potty-co here, man. I can see us being this works. E.A. Brown and I, as friends, as acquaintances, whatever, it works. I think it works. Well, I want to take this opportunity, if you don't mind, to say thank you. I want to say thank you to E.A. Brown for being our guest on this week's episode of Freewheeling Fridays. We've run the gamut from, I remember that show from 1945. But yes, I also remember there's Solomon Kane from Robert E. Howard. Who'd have thunk? We've crossed all genres. We've crossed all different sorts of metaverses. And clearly you got a new fan here with Cosmic Grandpa who's going to be reaching out to you here momentarily to become your new best friend from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, of all places. Because I've been to Philadelphia. I've never been to Pittsburgh. Sorry, guys.
You need to go to Pittsburgh. It's nice.
I've never been to Pittsburgh. I've been to Steel City Con in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. So I've been to that.
Okay. Well, then,
I've been to Steel City Con, all right? So I have experience in Steel City Con, brother.
Okay.
It's a good show, big show, a lot of stuff to take under your wing, but it can be done. But EA Brown, listen, congratulations to you. I want to say that first and foremost, okay? I'm going to say that to you. Congratulations to your team. Congratulations on this comic being a reality, right? It's a vision, and it's becoming a reality.
Yes.
Congratulations. We look forward to seeing you again. You're going to be on Anti-Quote Channel, I'm assuming, in the future to talk some Superman stuff with us. You're going to talk about maybe some of your favorite Batman moments are going to be discussed with you at some point. Maybe we'll bring you on the stream. Maybe, who knows? But if someone wants to know more about you, and check out the DEATHBLADE. See, that's my best version of a narrator type voice for this kind of stuff.
But I need to, we're going to use a voice on some of the.
If you want me to do some voiceover stuff for you, I can do it. I mean, just give me a holla, and you and I can talk shop later. But if someone wants to know more about you and the comic book and some of the things that your creative team are going to be doing, and maybe some of the appearances you're going to be making towards the different part of 2025 or into 2026, where can they follow you on social media?
Well, they can follow us on social media on DEATHBLADE AWK, or they can go to Skull Valley Comics, and they can reach out to us. If you send a message, my team will alert me, and I will respond. You can also go to our website, which is skullvalleycomics.com. We are currently redoing that whole website, so it's going to be a different look. We're building the DEATHBLADE world, so everyone from the Kickstarter platform can go on that platform. We can talk DEATHBLADE, and we will respond. We will have polls. We'll do all different types of stuff. We have currently 3 trade shows that we're looking at. We're looking at the Spooky Empire in Miami in December. We're also looking at the Galaxy Horror Show in Savannah, and we're looking at one in Connecticut or New Jersey. I'm not sure which one it is, but it may be 2 or 3. So that's our plan, and we got some other major plans. I can't tell you right now, but there's some really good.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations to you once again. Look forward to having you again somewhere down the line. We'll have you on the Anti-Quote Channel. We'll have some parties, talk some.
Check out, go to our Kickstarter,
which is in the description. In the comments. Yep.
I'm telling you, go to the Kickstarter, get your books. We got some amazing stuff.
It's coming. Yeah, definitely. For sure. We're going to talk to you here again, EA Brown. So stay with me. Feel free to grab some free drinks and some hors d'oeuvres in the non-existent green room of this studio. I'm just being silly, EA Brown, but you're the man, dude. You're the man. You know what, EA Brown? You're so money you don't even know it. You're like a big bear, man. My name is Ryan of Anti-Quote. There's a movie quote for you. My name is Ryan of Anti-Quote Channel, which, pretty good at quoting stuff. Check us out at Anti-Quote Channel on all forms of social media, which is written right here on my name tag. As you can see, where am I pointing to? There it is, right down below there. Links are in the description as well. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Freewheeling Fridays is on Friday nights, 11 o'clock Eastern time. We got lots more planned for the year of 2025. Some great names, big name guests are going to be joining us. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we hope you will join us for this wild ride, because it's going to be a heck of a ride for the summertime. Let me tell you, brothers and sisters. But once again, this has been a lot of fun. We love supporting other creators out there. We do our best to do it every single week. If you're curious about what we do, follow me on Anti-Quote Channel. If you're curious about what's going on here at the Madness Entertainment Group, where this show is being streamed, and what our plans are for the future, all you got to do is, just enjoy the craziness that ensues with the madness. But you don't have to take my word for it.
Tube and feel the vibe. Every show you crave right here live. Heroes and villains clash in the night. Madness Comic Network sets it right. Scroll through the list, find what you need. Epic battles and fast-paced speed. From capes to cosmic space delight. Tune in and watch your favorites ignite. On Facebook, share the thrill so grand. On X, the buzz across the land. Madness Comic Network all around. In every episode, joy is found. uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends, catch every twist and every turn. Madness Comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness Comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness Comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave and ride the tide. Join the fun, join the craze. Madness Comic brightens days. Hey! New uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends, catch every twist and every turn. Madness Comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness Comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness Comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave and ride the tide. Join the fun, join the craze. Madness Comic.